So let's talk about it, Alan. And what I really want to do is when we review Willow and give our reaction to episodes 1 through 3, we do need to follow up with a review of Strange World Disney, because I see a trend in everything Disney. Okay. And what is the trend? Very prominent characters that are gay in leading roles. And Willow starts off that way. Alan, why don't you launch in? You've seen more episodes than I've seen, but why don't you give us like a quick synopsis of at least the first episode and sort of events from episode 2 and 3. And so there may be spoilers in here. Like if you do consider hearing some of these things spoilers, I mean, it's not anything that I don't think it's anything shocking.
Well, by the way, Disney had asked us to not reveal one big spoiler.
What's the big spoiler?
The big spoiler. It's regarding regarding Dove and her.
Dove? That's
it is a big spoiler, and they just asked us not to reveal it.
Well, I may end up revealing it because I don't know what they asked us to
okay. If I said the word revelation, would that make sense?
I don't think it's much of a revelation. We're talking about two girls kissing in the first.
No, it's not about that. It's not
okay.
It's about one of the side characters.
Oh, I know which side character we're talking about.
All right, so we can't.
Yes, I do know. Okay, yes, let's not. We can also. To me, that's the least interesting thing about the first episode.
I know, but they were very specific in us not talking about it.
Okay, well, we basically the opening scene of this show is characters Jade and Kit. Kit is the daughter of Saoirse, who was in the first Willow movie. Her and Val Kilmer had children, a son and a daughter. And Kit and Jade are friends, and they want to be knights, and they're training and fighting with swords. These two ladies, and they're fighting with swords, and you can feel the sexual tension. You can feel the sexual tension with Kit and Jade, the two characters that are introduced. Kit is to be wed to, what's this actor's name? I like him. Graydon, played by Tony Revolori, really good comedic actor.
Yeah, Flash Thompson from Spider-Man.
Yeah, Flash. The guy who plays Flash Thompson. I like that actor. He's been in a bunch of indie movies where he's been very good. So Kit is supposed to be married to Graydon to unite the kingdoms. This is a story we've heard a million times, right? We're going to unite the kingdoms to fight the threat of blah 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 blah. But what's different is Jade and Kit are two women that are fighting, and her brother, played by, who's the brother? His name is Eric, but it's spelled Airk. Eric is played by Dempsey Burke, and he's just a womanizer. He is, he just totally distracted with whatever woman he's into that week or whatever. But he has a special affection for a girl named Dove. In any case, there's a threat from the kingdom. Some evil warriors invade, of course, when all these festivities are happening. And it's a little different. The Prince Eric, is abducted, not the princess Kit, but the prince is abducted and taken away. So what has to happen? They have to they even use the word fellowship. Okay. And they get together a bunch of the best warriors, which includes Kit and Jade and Prince Graydon, and they go off basically to recover the prince, right? Now, what's interesting is from the story, and this was written by Jonathan Kasdan, who is Lawrence Kasdan's son, who did Solo. And I will say this, at least something happens in the first episode. At least something happens, but everything about it to me screams generic fantasy. Generic, but we're going to do a twist, right? We have and Jade and Kit, you see as they're off, there's a campfire with their fellowship group that's off to rescue Eric, and yeah, they kiss in the first episode. Jade and Kit kiss in the first episode. Jade is played by Erin Kellerman, and Ruby Cruz plays Kit. And Joanne Wally is back as Sorsha, which I was super impressed by that. Warwick Davis is a wizard that they're seeking out to help. They find Willow at the very end. Willow Oofgood. I forgot that Willow had like a last name. But they encounter the wizard Willow at the very end of the episode to join their fellowship to rescue Prince Eric. That's the story. Here's like on the positive. I'm just gonna get out of the way. The actually story is like, okay, we've seen it before, but like, all right, they're giving a twist. It's different, but everything about it just smacks of sort of very generic. The action. There's one action scene I laughed out loud. It's utterly ridiculous. Do you remember this? They're riding on horses, and the one warrior, his name is Borman. They're riding on these horses, and they're riding towards a cliff, and they just jump off the cliff with their horses into this bed of water, and they're fine. When you saw that, Alan, did your jaw kind of drop?
Yeah, you
was
just kind of
stupid.
expect things like that. It's
It's
sad, but you're just used to it. And
it just completely defied the laws of physics. They jump off a cliff into a body of water that's like maybe 5 feet deep, and everybody's okay. It was like, wait, what? And it looks awful. It looks terrible. It looks like an overworked CGI person doing CGI from another country where they couldn't quite communicate. There was a language barrier in what they were trying to achieve special effects wise. And yeah. Anyways, just everything about it just smacks of sort of generic and I don't know. I just and there're just a lot of places I just sort of cringed and was like, why am I watching this? I will say this. Oddly, I enjoyed it much better than Rings of Power.
yeah, I was gonna say that. It's so much better written.
It's that's what's so funny. But this is how low the bar is. The bar is so low that like this writing, which is so mid to bad, is better than Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I hate Rings of Power, and this just shows how you can tell that story without getting so pretentious.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a good series, but I would rather sit through this than Rings of Power again.
For sure. It was just and you see the agenda like right on the surface with everything Disney, everything being Disneyfied. And we'll definitely get to that because it was Strange World ties into this. And I have a rant that I'm going to be doing later in the show that I have a suggestion for Disney that's going to solve all their problems. It's going to solve all their problems. But with this show, it's generic. You see the agendas right there. The lead Kit, the lead character Kit, it's a lesbian romance, sort of kicks the whole thing off. And my understanding intensifies. I have not seen episodes 2 and 3. Alan, you have. Can you give us a little bit of episodes 2 and 3?
Yeah, 2 and 3. I mean, essentially, it's the first episode sets up a quest, and 2 and 3 is basically the first stage of the quest. I believe the third episode is them ultimately finding Willow, because they need him to. Basically, Prince Eric has been kidnapped. They need to rescue him. And Willow is the only one who can really find him. And so that's, so there's this adventure. They're being chased by the bad guys, which is, honestly, the problem with this show is it's about a quest. There's no, it's about darkness. The enemy here is darkness. This is the same thing with Rings of Power. The enemy is darkness, which what does that mean? What does that mean to us as characters, as people, as what does it say about humanity, which is what these movies are supposed to be about? No, it's just we got to defeat darkness. All right, who's going to help us? Willow. Great,
It,
and that's the series.
it's it's almost like the Rings of Power in the sense of darkness is coming.
Yep.
Darkness is coming.
Yeah. Why should I fear the darkness? Why should
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings, we understood the stakes. We understood what happens if darkness wins. Here, it's no, darkness is bad, and we can't let darkness take over. But we don't know why, other than it's bad.
I will say what was interesting is they didn't Luke Skywalker, like what they did to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. They didn't really do that to Willow. Willow's now, first of all, I actually really like Warwick Davis. Life's Too Short, that series we were discussing earlier. On you can get it on HBO Max. What a great show. Warwick Davis basically playing himself.
I know.
And you mentioned that scene with Liam Neeson where they improv a scene. Oh
even the one with Johnny Depp.
And yeah, it's great.
That's so cringeworthy.
No, but it's awesome. It has that sort of Ricky Gervais, style, of comedy, of cringe, awkward comedy. I love it. But they don't, his character is different than he was in Willow, because in Willow he was he was just a little person who rose to the occasion, right? And now he's a full-blown wizard, right? Powerful wizard. And I like that. And they respect him. So yeah, I just, based on that, it's like, okay, story-wise, this is not as bad as one would have thought. It's just so Disney. There's something about Disney everything that it's like they have a checklist and they go through the checklist. Okay, did we hit everything on the checklist? Okay, we're good. It's Disney, and then out the door, right? The main thing being, I'm really curious how people are going to react to the fact that the main character, Kit, is in a lesbian relationship with this woman Jade. She doesn't want to marry the prince. In fact, she even has this outburst in the first episode where she's kind of rebuffed by Jade and I need to leave and go on an adventure. You do your little princess things, whatever you're gonna do. And then she goes off and is like, fine, I'll marry this dude. And she gets all in her face, kind of trying to make her jealous.
I will say a lot of that is played out in episode 5.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Yes.
Because you watched
again. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it's there's a, I wouldn't say a payoff, but there is a development in that, in both of those things you talked about.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I already know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, and then also in the chat, we're not going to post these, but there's a question if a certain character shows up. That is the thing we're not allowed to talk about.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. We'll get to the chat.
The answer is obvious, but we're not allowed to talk about it.
Okay. We're going to get to your chat questions and comments. We're going to get to your chat questions and comments. But I want to make sure that we wrap up our feelings about this. I don't know that even after watching just the first episode that I would continue watching it. It's as bad as you think it is. And yet story-wise, it's this is genuinely, from a story standpoint, makes sense as a sequel to Willow. There is no Val Kilmer, but Val Kilmer is referenced. There's a montage at the opening kind of giving you the basic backstory of the Willow movie. Which the first the Willow movie was not even I remember was okay. Val Kilmer's character, what's his name? Mad Mardigan, is the best part of that movie. He's like Han Solo on steroids, and you'll not find that there. Although his son Eric has a lot of his attributes. He's kind of a womanizer, kind of he sort of uses witticism to get out of every situation that he finds himself in. So
yeah, just to be clear, Kit and Eric are his kids.
Yes, Kit and Eric are his kids, and they're they kind of look like they really cast well, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, let me give you my take on this.
Okay.
It's honestly, I've seen the first Willow. Honestly, I don't remember the first Willow a whole lot. The other thing is this is decidedly a Disney Channel show. It's not for us adults. It's for the younger set, and by the age of the fellowship, it clearly is for your preteen teen kids, and it feels like a Disney Channel show. If you've seen Descendants, if you've seen High School Musical, these type of shows, there you go. This is the quality of the story and the quality of the production values. Although I would say is definitely elevated than anything the Disney Channel's put out. And then the only other thing I've talked about how just inane the plot is. There's not really a story. There's just a quest. And the third, as much as I like Warwick Davis, his acting is standout bad in this series. I mean, literally, everyone is such a great actor next to Warwick Davis, and I hate saying this, but I just have to be blunt. The way he delivers dialogue is so monotone, so void of pitch that it just comes off as, it just sounds like he's reading lines off the script. And there are pauses that feel like he's reading lines, having to take a breath at a weird spot, and then moving on. And this is the thing that annoyed me the most throughout this series. And I feel bad because, life's too short. Life is short. He's really good in that. I don't know why he's not good in this. I don't know if you felt that, but
well, no, I only saw the first episode.
Oh, yeah, he's not in it in the first episode.
No, he is in the first episode at the very end.
Oh, okay.
The very end, like he's sort of like they find him, right?
Yeah.
They find
watch the trailers, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying.
But it's weird because my expectations for this were very low, and while it didn't 100% suck, it was just bad. That almost exceeded my expectations. This is, but you hit the nail on the head. This is a Disney Plus. This is a Disney Channel show made for kids, and it's all the sort of cheapness that goes with that, where the effects, the quality of the effects really vary. There's some things like, oh, that's a cool creature design.
Yeah, and some of the wide shots are really good.
Yeah, and so some of like where they're trying to show how vast the kingdom is or whatever, and then a lot of it is just stupid. So it's that, range and quality. So the range and quality is just all over the map. That thing where they ride their horses off a cliff is just dumb. It was so dumb. It's like right out of, it's like that scene in Last Jedi with, Princess Leia pulling herself, Mary Poppins, like back into the ship. That was just ridiculous. You just go like, what did I just watch? That was bad. So yeah, it's but this is why, and it's so funny with our thumbnail on this. It's like, it's just what you would expect, right? This is what you would, everything that we know about like what Disney Lucasfilm does. It's like you can predict the things that are not going to work about it. I was talking to Gary Beekler. I said, you could review this show without having seen it, say the things you think that you'll end up thinking, and then what you'll do is find out that you were correct, that almost everything you could predict about it is correct, because we know so much about how Disney goes about things, how much, how much Lucasfilm goes about things as well. And you can just predict how it's going to go. Yeah. So there you go. Willow, first 3 episodes. It's for kids. It's a Disney Channel show. And is it a worthy follow-up to Willow? I don't know that Willow was that. I remember seeing Willow when it first came out and thinking, that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one movie, so it's not like we can really complain about violating lore, because there wasn't a whole lot, and I don't think, I have to feel that there wasn't a great fan base for Willow and a Willowverse or Willow conventions. I don't think those ever existed.
Bottom line on Willow, Alan, you've seen like the first 7 episodes.
Yeah, first 6. I haven't
6.
This is probably the last we'll ever talk about Willow. So, yeah, I mean, we've summed up here. It's not for us. It's for our preteen, young teen children. That's the audience it's meant for. You're not going to find anything extraordinary about it. Something that there's no pearls to dig for, or there's, it is what it is. It's they're just reviving a intellectual property putting it on Disney Plus, and it's time for us to move on.